If one spouse disagrees with the other spouse and this goes to court, the courts will often favor the parent that is seeking gender transition. And there's been many unfortunate situations of parents who have lost custody of their child for fighting for slowing down the medicalization of their gender onset dysphoria. And so that is terrifying. I mean, as a father of a child, to know that if my child was influenced by social media that we're going to talk about here, that is just astounding. If she was influenced by that and then had the belief that she is now a man, and then, her mom wanted to give her hormones and blockers, and I disagreed with that, the courts would favor that child's perception over my own years of observing the child. I mean, this is a thing that I think is quite interesting. And these activists, they do not have children. Anyone who has a child knows that young boys are completely different from young girls. And this is not the influence of culture or socialization. This is just innate. So the scientists say, asked whether the youths had friends or others who came out as transgender around that same time, 54% of the parents said yes. That respondent was significantly higher among natal females, 60% compared to just 38% of the males. Among those who answered yes, the mean number of transgender friends was 2.4. Okay, having friends who came out as transgender was sufficiently related to the likelihood of social transition, statistically adjusting for natal sex. Among females, 73% with contemporaneous transgender friends had taken steps towards social transition, compared with just 54% of such friends for males. And so again, the ratio is about 2-1. So most young females, natal females who are transitioning to boys, have other friends who are transitioning, and they're influenced by those friends. Now, any parent knows this, and you were taught this by your parents when you're young. If you're hanging out with kids who are doing drugs, you're more likely to do drugs. If you're hanging out with kids who are doing sports, you're more likely to play sports. So if all your friends are transgender, then obviously you might start to believe that you yourself are also transgender. And this is the social contagion effect. So I wanted to share this with you. There's been a lot of, this is very controversial, obviously, but parents need to be aware of the fact that Instagram hashtags such as trans care, top surgery, bottom surgery, chest binding, breast binding, all of these things are being utilized by young children who are on social media. So I would strongly suggest, as a parent, a good strategy is to not allow your child to have a smartphone. As you can see here, there's also the trends in Google and in other media sources and so forth that have looked at the onset of gender dysphoria. It coincides with smartphone and social media applications starting in 2013. So what happened around 2012? Instagram came out. We saw Snapchat was a big one in 2013, 2014. And then now we have TikTok, right? And so the more young people that are getting on these platforms, seeing pictures of other people who have undergone breast binding, top surgery, puberty blockers and the like, and they are unaware of the long-term health consequences. When you were 11 or 13, you were not thinking about how many children you want or your future. You were just thinking about, how do I have more friends in school and get more popular, right? And it's more short-term gratification. So why then in this country are we rapidly medicalizing gender dysphoria and not looking at the root cause, not looking at exercise, nutrition, sleep, circadian rhythm dysfunction, micronutrient imbalances, metabolic health? A vast majority of these children who have rapid onset gender dysphoria also use illicit substances, whether it's marijuana or kratom, who knows what the substances are, but surveys have actually found this. And a clinic in San Francisco recently reported that children have identified as 48 different genders, right? And so you got to ask yourself, how did they learn of these things? It's most likely through social media and activists that are also targeting children. This is that we should protect the children. And that's why we don't allow children to get tattoos, drive cars, drive boats and airplanes, smoke cigarettes, because they do not think forwardly. They're thinking short-term, immediate gratification, and are known to be impulsive. And the medical community is exploiting that. So I think it's important that we recognize this, that we get educated on this, and we all start to talk more about this, because this is a phenomenon that is not going away. It is only increasing. It's being politicized, and the long-term health consequences of giving a young boy estrogen, think about that, what that could be doing for cardiometabolic health, for cancer risk, because the estrogens that are being injected into young boys are synthetic estrogens and progesterones. And we know that these compounds affect the brain in females that are taking birth control, but the young boys are taking significantly more higher levels of these these compounds, and they're developing breasts and the like. And I just worry about the future health of people. I care about children, and I made a lot of dumb decisions when I was a child. I'm sure you did as well. And I'm so glad that this wasn't around when I was a kid, because it seems like the pressure is everywhere, from drag queen story hour in school to all these different things, and they're being foisted on children. And the children are our future, and we should care about our future.